It has been a lot of years since we've had a conversation in the United States, a serious conversation, about ending poverty as opposed to simply helping out poor people. And there are some great organizations out there that are actually engaging in that conversation. How do we actually end poverty? Ona Porter is with us. She's the president and CEO of Prosperity Works. ProsperityWorks.net is the website. Ona, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Tom. Glad to be here.
Thanks for joining us. Tell us about Prosperity Works and what you're doing there in New Mexico.
Well, Tom, we have a vision, really, that every New Mexican may have the opportunity and the knowledge and relationships that they need to achieve economic security and prosperity. And we have designed a whole host of products and services to support that vision. And they all really are around building assets, personal assets, social assets, and financial assets, we believe, are the three-legged stool of controlling your life. And we also believe that assets are critical to your future, that income is good, and if we have enough of it, that's even better. But income gets you by. It's assets that get you ahead. So our focus in the opportunity ladder is on building assets.
So what's a social asset?
Well, there are many social assets. One of those is certainly who you know. And, we talk about ghettos, but we think of those as physical places. In fact, we all live in the ghetto of our own creation. And those ghettos are surrounding ourselves with people who are just like us. And so, if I have a problem with my car, my social asset is to call AAA. If a low-income person has a problem with a car, their social asset is to find a friend with a chain. And so it's who we know, it's what we know, and it's how we can maneuver in our communities to meet our basic needs and beyond those.
So how do you enhance people's social assets?
Well, we one of the things that we provide to people who are working on an asset development plan is a comprehensive financial capability training. And in that, we reserve 15% of the seats in the class for the community at large. And what happens in that is during those 10 weeks, we really are building what we call bridging capital between people who would never know one another, who don't know each other's lifestyles, who don't know each other's employment or employment opportunities. And in those places, what we really find is that number one, for middle-income people who sit in those classes, there's never a conversation anymore in their lives about steaks and Cadillacs. They understand that low-income people are the hardest-working people that they now know. But they also understand the barriers that have been in people's lives that have kept them from, achieving dreams. And so very often what happens is that those individuals who are now meeting and sharing ideas and learning in this classroom setting are really becoming advocates for one another and also friends of one another. So we've had people find jobs for other people. We have had teachers go to bat when somebody was offered a job and then their credit score determined that they were not eligible for that job. And the teacher in the classroom will actually go to that employer and say, hey, this is the best bet you can get. We've also had actually individuals who have said, I can help with the issues that you have in trying to build your asset. Will you allow me to do that? So that's bridging capital, and it really is breaking down barriers and opening up the world to really an understanding of people's struggles and how we get through those struggles.
That's remarkable. Now, that's social assets, financial assets, personal assets. Let's talk about those.
Yeah. Okay, so with personal assets, certainly a huge one of those is education. We know that people who are have a high school education or less have extreme difficulty in terms of economic security. And so having access to quality education is a really important variable in terms of being able to secure a future for yourself. Mm-hmm. But in this process, one of the things also is that we are building confidence with the populations with whom we are working, and agency. And agency really, from our perspective, means that people are able to understand that they have value and that they have rights and that they should be able to pursue those things with confidence. Mm-hmm. So, in our process, really, it's about learning and it's about stabilizing, and then it's about leveraging what it is that you learn and the relationships that you have so that you can do better in your life.
We're talking with Ona Porter, President and CEO of Prosperity Works. ProsperityWorks.net is the website. Doing some extraordinary work out of New Mexico. Where in New Mexico are you based?
Well, we're in Albuquerque, but we work through community-based partners. Mm-hmm. So we have partners as large and complex as the Central New Mexico Community College. It has 6 campuses and 40,000 students, and as small as an indigenous farmers organization that has actually the largest dryland seed collection in the world.
Whoa. We have about 2 minutes left on it. Tell me about. So we've talked about now about social capital and about personal capital or assets, financial assets. How do you this I opened this with let's end poverty. That implies financial assets, right?
Right. And there are 2 ways that we can build financial assets. And one of those is to increase income, and the other is to decrease costs. And then also have an opportunity for some products, some financial products that allow us to save and to leverage that savings into, our dreams, whether that's higher education, home ownership, starting a business, like that.
Mm-hmm. So what do you do there at Prosperity Works to help people do that?
So one of the products that we have available, Tom, is called an individual development account. And those are matched savings accounts. Mm. And after people complete their financial capability training, they're eligible to save. And at the same time they're saving, they're building an asset plan. And when they reach their goal, we match them 4-to-1 for the purchase of a first home, to capitalize a small business, or for higher education.
Whoa. Now, this seems like relatively small amounts of money. Can a small amount of money have a large impact on someone's life?
Huge impact. It really is amazing. There are lots of, our individual development account savers purchase their asset usually with $5,000. If there are 2 members of the family saving, that would be 10.
So that's enough for a down payment on a house, for example.
Right, and of course, one of the things that we do with that is, in addition to that down payment, we're looking for other kinds of opportunities that might be available that they can leverage. So on average, we often have people going into their homes with about 20 to 25% equity. During the time that we have been doing this, which is about 5 years, and over 200 people having purchased homes, we've never had a house foreclosed upon, and we also have not had a mortgage flipped.
Remarkable. Okay. Ona Porter is her name. She's the president and CEO of Prosperity Works. You can read all about it over at ProsperityWorks.net. Thanks for being with us today.
You bet. Thank you, Tom.
Great talking with you. Be right back.